People, deluded, obviously different location and whatnot. I'm in my lunch break, it's peeing down with rain. I've eaten my lunch, got nothing to do, bought my camera. Do I need to explain the rest? So let's crack on. I've seen some comments and I thought, you know what, it's something of nothing. Well, I've seen Iwobi's comments and I'd like to offer my thoughts on Balogun. First and foremost, we'll start with Balogun now. Flo Balogun, following Balogun, I believe is his full name, forgive me for mispronunciation. 18 years of age, scores goals for fun, as every good striker should do. For me, got good movement, knows how to score goals. I think his link-up play is very good. Once Amici and Balogun were called the young Eddie and the young Reece Nelson, and I get that, there's a lot of comparisons, but they're all talented players within their own rights. I know Amici's gone. What was I going to say now? For Arsenal, it's lovely. You've got Eddie, just gone on loan to Leeds back yesterday. You've got Tyrese John-Jules, no secret how much I love him as a footballer. And I love Balogun equally. Now, Balogun is probably behind the two. And so this season, last season, he didn't get looking in the 23s. He was on the bench and he came off it. This season, he should... With Eddie gone out alone, it's him and Tyrese John-Jules, who might be with the first team from time to time. It'll be them two either starting together or fighting for the shirt. Now, Tyrese is probably ahead in the pecking order for Bolden Embre, but obviously he had a little knock. He got a knock against Watford's under 23s, so he didn't start in their last match against Blackburn, which obviously Balogun scored a hat-trick. Now, 3 penalties, he scored the rebound for the first. He's carrying on with his good form in pre-season. For me, he's 18, you're at that delicate sort of age now. He's turning 19 soon. You've got Tyrese who's ahead of him. You don't even know, and he's got his own thing to consider, and Eddie. It's good for the club to have 3 young players, 3 young strikers fighting for it with genuine potential. I'd love for all of them to progress into the Arsenal first team, and if not, have good careers, which I hope they do, or sold on for profit. But let's not be naive. It's tight for any of them to make it here. That's before speaking about Aubameyang and Lacazette, which rumours are we're only missing an announcement in terms of a permanent signing for, a contract extension for the two. So you look at it, I feel Balogun, if I was him, I probably wouldn't have signed a new deal at Arsenal. Like I said, right now he's got the opportunity to become the first choice striker in the 23s, him and Tyrese John-Jules. With that, you obviously want to be in Emre's thinking for the Carling Cup and whatnot. But I know for a fact he's changed agencies, and if he looks at it, he was wanted by Leipzig and all of these sort of things. I think this year he should look to score as many goals as you can for the 23s and push on, but probably next season, if it's not happening here, I'd probably advocate for him to leave because he's turning 19. Do you really want to be 20 playing on the 23s football? I'm not going to say there's no prospect of getting into the first team because I don't know, but I see Balogun, I see Eddie, I see Tyrese. Obviously you've got the 2 young good other strikers. There's talk of Martinelli and Pepe even filling up there. So I do back his potential, but I feel this is a season where he has a lot to consider because I do think if he was somewhere else where the pathway is clearer, potentially he could get first team eventually. Now, like I said, he was a second-year scholar playing under 18s last year. If he was to sign for another team somewhere, I don't think he's going to go straight into the first team. He'd have to, like I said, 23s football. But if you can go somewhere where you start off with the 23s or your first team, but you're with the 23s, I would consider that because you look at some strikers worse than him, they're getting moves elsewhere and they look like they're making progress. I think he's got a lot to consider. And because of the dynamic of you're seeing young players leave, if I was him, as much as I want him to stay, is it best for your development? Because if he scores 20 goals or so, 23s football now this season, which I believe he can, he should be looking to get a League One, a League Two, a Championship or whatever loan or permanently try to test yourself. I would have potentially went Germany. I think if he's here next year playing 23s, it's a shame. Now again, development is development. If he gets a look in, he gets a look in. But I just feel it's very good for the fans in the club to have 3 in Eddie, Tyrese John-Jules, and for this video, Balogun, who score goals for fun, who know where the goal is. I would love all of them to progress to first team. It's tough for any of them to make it here, really and truly, just like any other young player. I would love Balogun and Tyrese in particular to make it here, and Eddie. I'd love all 3 of them to progress into first team because I think they've all got different qualities. I feel Eddie, very good poacher. I feel Tyrese has a lot to his game beyond scoring goals. He drops deep. I think Balogun's link-up play is very good, and I like his movement, especially in and around the semicircle. I believe he's of Nigerian heritage, but forgive me if I've got that wrong. So there's a potential international tug of war in the future. Who knows? But I would be looking to probably move on. Like I said, he was linked with Leipzig, for example, and yeah. So away from that, people, you've got Iwobi now. Iwobi. He's left, he plays for Everton now, we hold him dearly in our heart, but it's over now. He's offered some thoughts and he said in relation to his move to Everton, I spoke to the manager and Marcel, and they almost lured me in, Iwobi told Everton TV. The offer was too attractive for me to turn down. I've always had the youngster tag at Arsenal, so hopefully this move I'm able to make a name for myself in the Premier League and create history with Everton. The manager was telling me there's a spot for you, we'll take care of you. Basically all the things you want to hear as a player. Now, it must have been tough for Iwobi because he's come through Arsenal, he's supported Arsenal, he's a London boy and all of these things, and he's comfortable. And he did play significantly last season. He was one of the most used players under Emery, so it must have taken a lot. I would love for the details to come out because I think the conversation's probably gone. Emery and him have sat down. He's like, listen, Iwobi, I like you, I want you to stay, but you're free to leave. I've signed Pepe, there's obviously Nelson, a couple other young players. You can fight for your spot, but I can't give you guarantees. If that's said and the manager said you can go, then it is what it is. He probably told he wouldn't play a lot this season and he wants to develop. So I don't think he ran away from competition. I think Iwobi must have really been told, listen, you're not really going to feature in my team as such. For him to want to leave, because he's a competitive person. One thing you've got to give Iwobi, of course our transfer policy hasn't been amazing in recent years, but when you're them sort of positions at Arsenal, there's always competition, and Iwobi, for all the scapegoating and what people say lack of ability, he's never ran from it. He's always stood up people. Personally, I think Everton's a good move for him because when I remove my personal affection for the player, the first thing I think of, obviously, I said scapegoating. Iwobi has had some poor games, he's had some good games. We all know whether it's Iwobi, whether it's Xhaka, even Mustafi. Some people, there's agendas in it. Like, we all know Mustafi's not a good footballer right now for Arsenal. But if he has a good game, some people won't say it because they've already made their bed. And some players that are good, that play poorly, people won't admit it. You know how fans are. For me, with Iwobi, he was one of them. So stepping out of that, the sort of attachment where if you lose and whatnot, it's all on you, and that unnecessary mental pressure can help him at Everton. He's got a new beginning there, clarity of mind, there's no scapegoating. He said the youngster tag, that's away from him. He can play freely and he's no longer Arsenal Academy player in Alex Iwobi, or people are looking at him, why is he playing there and there's nobody else? With all due respect to Everton, of course Everton want better players, but I think there'll be less of that. Obviously, I'm not saying he's going to play week in, week out, because I don't know Everton's plans. They could play him as a cam, they could play him on the left wing. So you would assume that Sigurdsson, if he does play in the cam or Sigurdsson plays behind him, Everton fans know more than me, he'll be fighting with them, or he'll be fighting with the Theos and the Richarlisons for them front 3 or 4 give or take positions. So the best thing for me is that the chapter with Arsenal's ended. He can go there with clarity of mind. He starts again from zero. He's got to earn the respect of the fans. Of course, the Premier League fans know what Iwobi's about and whatnot, but it's away from the Arsenal thing. So for me, I never discount how much a new environment can do for you. And with that, again, you look at the London factor. Raheem Sterling has said he don't want to return to London, and Liverpool and going to City was one of the best things for him. You look at Jadon Sancho at Dortmund. Sometimes when you get out of a certain environment, because he's a Londoner essentially, when you get out of this environment, it can sometimes help you focus or help you get your mind back and whatnot. Obviously, they've clearly offered Iwobi something, whether that's a regular first team, showed them future projections or whatever. I hope Iwobi has a great season. I think he's a good squad player, good rotation option at Arsenal. A part of me is waiting, because I do think there's a player there. I do think, I'm one of them, I don't think he can develop to a madness, but I like him in my squad. But I do think there's a player within Iwobi waiting to explode, someone that can get near to 10 assists and probably a couple of goals in the Prem. If he can go to Everton and play with the same mentality he does for Nigeria and has shown for Arsenal, then he'll have a good season. And who's to say within the next 2 years or so he won't be back at a top 6 club, and Arsenal are not there going, oh, why did he sell him and whatnot? Because at the time, let's be honest, people, it's good money for Iwobi. It is 35-40 million, that's good money for Iwobi. Personally, I think that's good money, but you don't know me, I made a vid. I feel in today's day and age, footballers, players, teams and whatnot, there's money to be made of teams, and nobody gives Arsenal any deals and whatnot. It doesn't matter if the players got an ability or not. People are just demanding whatever they're demanding for players. And I feel, considering Iwobi signed a new deal last year, he's homegrown and whatnot, could we have pushed that 50 to 60? Could we have got more of a sell-on percentage? Could we have got a buyback option? Could we have done it, people? Because you see worse players quoted for 50 million. Like, I'm sure Rondon, no disrespect, at one time, someone wanted it for 30-40 million. 50 million, sorry. So there's things that can be done, but I wish Iwobi the best, and I wish Balogun the best in his progress. But I do think Balogun in Balogun's case, I'm not saying he should leave. I'm not saying you can't make it at Arsenal. I'm saying this season in particular, you should see how it goes and really consider everything, because you don't want to be 20, 21 and you're still playing 23s. I think Emre's aware of him. I think he'll get a look in. I think if he bangs 23s, because like I said, he wasn't a main fixture last season in the 23s. There was people ahead of him. The first step is to keep playing like this for the 23s and play so well to the point where you can't be ignored. Similar to Iwobi. I remember when Iwobi had that one real standout season for the 23s, when I remember 3 goals against Stoke and whatnot. He was too good to not, even in the youth league, he was too good for people to ignore. Obviously, a lot of players got potential and whatnot. It's about playing to that level where the manager can't ignore you, where everyone from the tea lady to the assistant manager to Lombard are saying, yo, Emery, have you seen this guy in the 23s and the 18s? I think he's good enough. Like Saka, do you get it? Saka's too good to ignore, do you get it? He's been putting in the performances. I don't feel everybody needs to be a Reece Nelson, a Saka, or Emile Smith-Rowe and things like that to get chances. I feel some man just need to be a competent. For instance, I see no reason, I ain't got none to hand, but I see no reason why our academy shouldn't be producing a right back to compete with Bellerin, a competent backup, a left back, a good utility option. Do you get what I'm saying, people? Not everybody needs to, not everyone that comes out the academy's got to be Reece Nelson, Wilshere, Callum Hudson-Odoi, Jadon Sancho. No one has to be that. Of course we want that. We love exciting players. Arsenal fans, we get gassed, man. How many times has a young player come through the academy? I haven't seen this much potential since Jack Wilshere. That's been said for Reece Nelson, that's been said for Emile Smith-Rowe, that's been said for Michi, now departed and gone to Hamburg. I'm not saying that's not true, I'm just saying people are getting gassed to help me reiterate the point to you guys. So yeah, man, I just thought I would offer that. Obviously, I'm in my lunch break. Let's see if, at the risk of getting back to people, let's see if someone walks in. Let's see if there's any more news of significance. Let's go on a quick little Twitter page. The only thing I can see of real relevance, people, is that when Galatasaray complete the signing of Falcao, they'll go for El Nene. There's actually, I think I've already spoke about this, people. Apparently, we have first refusal on Rene Adelaide, just like Benassia. So in theory, you've heard Rene Adelaide is close to making a 25 to 30 million pound move from Angers to Lyon, which is quite the come up in 18 months, where he was sold for less than 5 million. We've got a sell on fee and we've got a buyback clause. It's highly unlikely that we're gonna exercise our right to not buyback, our right to match Lyon's offer, which is 30 million euros, 25, 30 million euros, considering we've got players in the world in Rene Adelaide's position. Emery, I won't say Emery don't rate him, but he deems he's not part of his plans because he let him go. Apparently, contractually, we have 14 days to make a decision. Without Arsenal agreeing to the move, Lyon cannot complete this move. So we probably will not exercise this. Like I said, we've got people in other rights. But yeah, technically, we've made a profit when we sold Jeff last season. And yeah, we'll get a percentage. And I'm not going to bang on. But I do personally believe if Jeff obviously had injuries and stuff like that, I do believe Jeff could have been a calm player for the squad. But Emery knows better than me. If he wants to use other young players or use other players, he's within his rights. You lot know me, I support all the young G's, whether they're here or not, or departed elsewhere. And I hope Rene Adelaide has a good season for Lyon. I'm pretty sure they're in the Champions League if he does move there. Hope Chris Willett bangs it for West Bromwich Albion and goes back to Benfica. Hope Bielik shows his thing at Derby. Of course, I hope the likes of Ballard, Osei Tutu, Amichi's left, but the players that shave, the players that are on loan from our club, Emile Smith-Rowe potentially, I hope they all do the best, man, because it's all Arsenal Academy. Charlie Gilmore of Norwich/Telstar on loan, Vontae's at Leicester. There's players dotted about, people. You lot know I love you football, so I'll never hide away from that, but been speaking for time, man. People, DG, thank you for watching and rocking as usual. Let me get out of here before someone walks through that door and I get bagged out.